Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Ham, and today we have another episode of our series Breaking Bread, where I share the recipes that I love to cook for my family and friends with you all. So on today's menu, we're having pulled pork sandwiches, and I am so excited to share this recipe. I think that all families, especially in the US, we love a good barbecue meal, and I think one of the easiest and just fastest convenient ones is a pulled pork meal. So I'm going to show you in sandwich form, including all the bells and whistles. So let's get started. Okay guys, so we're going to switch it up. First we're going to start with our meat. Okay, so we have this whopping big massive 12-pound pork shoulder, and like I've said previously, we typically get our meat from the local butcher. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut the meat, the pork, in half. I'm not gonna use all 12 pounds for this one meal. So I'm gonna separate it in two equal parts, and then the remaining part I'm just gonna put it aside for the next meal. So if you wanna know what it is, stay tuned, okay? It's gonna be something very juicy, delicious, and something to do with my roots, okay? But now we have that 6-pound pork shoulder that we just cut. So I'm just gonna go ahead and score the top and bottom surface by making these diagonal cuts along the surface. The cuts are going to be about 1/4 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch. Just allows to have more surface area that can touch the seasoning and just be exposed to the flavor. So once you make your diagonal cut across the entire surface, you're gonna go and do another diagonal cut and make a cross cut to create like a lattice pattern. And like I said, it just increases the surface area that is just exposed to all that goodness and flavor. And guys, making pork is just so easy. There's hardly any prep, like no washing, really no trimming. I guess you can trim the fat, but I think it adds more to the flavor. So basically I'm just gonna flip it and do the same thing on the other end, and we can move on to our seasoning. Okay, this is the backbone of a good barbecue. So we're gonna use chili powder, 1/4 cup, cumin, 1 tablespoon, Famous Dave's rib rub, 1/4 cup, and black pepper. We're gonna use 1 tablespoon, ginger, ground ginger, 1 tablespoon as well, and onion powder, 1 tablespoon, and lastly some garlic powder, 1 tablespoon. And make sure you mix it all up. You want the flavors of the individual seasonings to be just evenly distributed throughout the entire pork. And I'm going to use mustard as my binder. I'm being generous, applying it into the entire surface area and rubbing it in, all in the creases, the crevices, where I made the latest cut, that cross, sort of sections. And I'm doing it to the other side as well, adding that mustard. And guys, you can use anything as a binder. You can use oil, you can use barbecue sauce even, but I think mustard just adds a little tanginess. So let's go in with our seasoning. I'm just putting it, sprinkling it on the top, trying to be even as I distribute it across the meat. And then I'm going to go in as well and just pat it in. Make sure you pat it in because it can fall off, right? So you want it to stick to your binder, and just do it to both ends. So here is a close up, right? We're just sprinkling our seasoning that we just mixed up across our pork shoulder, and we're being very generous, and we're making sure that it's even, and also within the cuts, those layers that we made, those deep grooves that we made, you want to go ahead and put your seasoning in the grooves as well, just so that your meal is well seasoned. And guys, don't forget the sides, okay? Go ahead and season the sides. Every nook and cranny must have seasoning. You cooking with Ham, okay? We like some seasoning. I am Afro-Caribbean, I am African American as well, so I'm like half Caribbean. So whether it's soul food or Caribbean food or even American food, I just love good flavor. So get into it. Every nook and cranny, guys. And the crevices on the top, the bottom, the sides, all. Don't let anything be wasted in the pan, okay? We don't waste over here. But, pat it in, okay? And then you can go ahead and set your oven. I did 350, and then I just put it in on a rack. So this is just a metal baking rack. So I just let it go for 2 hours uncovered, and then after that I moved it to the baking tray that I use for seasoning because I'm going to add some liquid. So we're going to add some Dr. Pepper for some flavor. You can use any sort of liquid of your choice, and by that I mean some people use applesauce, some people use cola, but Dr. Pepper, baby. It's good and nice, so that's what I'm using. And I'm just eyeballing it. I just want it to be a little bit sopped up, so maybe about a cup to 2 cups. And then I'm adding in some more seasoning. Like I said, we do seasoning over here, okay? Just sprinkling some seasoning over the top. And guys, for some extra flavor, you can go ahead also and add some liquid smoke. I wish I had some, but I thought I did, but I didn't. So, yeah. And then I'm adding in some butter, y'all. Yes, this is not a healthy meal, okay? If you're dieting, I don't think you should make it like this, at least. But we're gonna add some butter into those grooves, those nooks, those crannies that we made, okay? We're gonna have it, like I said, sopped up. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the foil on it. I love to double foil. That's typically what I do. It just entraps the moisture better. But, I double foiled, put it in, and I'm going to let that go for about 4 hours. And in the meantime, I'm going to make the coleslaw, okay? This is the bells and the whistles. You can't have a sandwich without the coleslaw. But anyways, coleslaw is super easy. I just get a mix, the bag, and then I add coleslaw sauce to it. See, all done. How easy is that? But it's been 4 hours later, and we're gonna remove this foil, okay? You see that top layer? Okay. I just wanted to show you guys. And then I'm moving that bottom layer, and now the big reveal. Yep, this is it. Up close and personal. And you can let it rest. I feel like it's easier to cut when it's a little hot, so that's what I'm gonna do. And I just went in with 2 forks. That's the tools that I have, and I am going to shred this shoulder. And just work on it little bit by little, chip away. And guys, you can choose to dump out the juices and sauce from when it was cooking, but I like it. I think it has a lot of flavor in it. I think it makes it more juicy, so I keep it. So this is what it should look like, guys. Look at that. It is steaming hot and so juicy, and most of all, very, very flavorful, okay? But we're not done yet. We're gonna add that barbecue sauce. This is barbecue, guys. So my sauce of choice is the Flavor Town by Guy Fieri, and then the flavor or type that I chose is the Smokin' Hickory barbecue sauce. I also typically like to do a Sweet Baby Ray's between those two, but I was needing something smoky, okay? I didn't have my liquid smoke, so I used this sauce instead, and I am happy that I did. So guys, let's assemble a sandwich together. We have our pickles. I know some people don't like pickles, but I am a pickle girly. Anytime I have a sandwich, whether it's turkey, burger, whatever, I'm adding pickles. Then we're gonna go in with our pulled pork. Oh my god, so much flavor. And our coleslaw, okay? Yep, you have to have the coleslaw. I don't see any alternate universe where there's no coleslaw on a pulled pork sandwich, but do you? No judgment here. But we're gonna go ahead and top it off with a bun, and dinner or lunch is served. Thank you guys for watching Thank you guys for the support, and I'll see you in the next video.